Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project is we're going to be hanging a ceiling fan in this location here. Now, we did remove the ceiling fan previously. I will put a link in the video here that you can go back and you can look at another video that I did for the removal of the fan itself, but I'll put a link someplace in the video so you can see that. All right, so now we have the old fan down, and we are going to take the wiring here. I want to point one more thing out to you too. Now, if you look at this, you'll see there's a white wire, a black wire, a red wire, and a regular ground wire. The red wire we are not going to use. Is actually, it's a dummy, it's disconnected, and the other side of the switch itself is not connected. So this one is a dummy. We're not going to use this one here at all. All right, so this is just going to go off to the side. This would be if you wanted to have a switch on the wall to control the fan and a separate switch to control the light. But that's not what we're going to do. It's all going to be together. All right, so this one we're not going to use. All right, let me bring you down there. I'll show you what we're going to do, and then we're going to get started, and we'll get this job done. This is an example of what kind of tools you're going to need to get the job done. You really don't need a lot of tools, but you may need a few things here. We're going to use a electric screwdriver to drive the screws into the ceiling. When we put this on, it's a little bit easier. If you don't have this, no big deal. You can do it with a regular Phillips head. We are going to use possibly a regular flathead screwdriver. We may need wire strippers, and we may need a pair of needle nose, but we'll see how that goes. We may need some new wire nuts, so we have them just in case. And we have a non-contact voltage tester. In case you're not sure the power is turned off, you can test it with your non-contact tester. I know the power is off, so I'm not even going to be using this. But if you did, you would touch it up against the black wire. And if it was power in it, when you touched the black wire, it would beep like crazy and you'd know there's power in it. All right, but we're not going to use this. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up there and we're going to connect up this plate up to the box in the ceiling. So let's go up and do that. All right, let's take the screws out. We'll get ready to put the new bracket up to the ceiling here. All right, we're going to take our bracket. Now you want to make sure, of course, that you have the right screws to hold it in there. You cannot use the short little screws that you'll find in these light fixtures sometimes. You need to have a very large screw to hold the weight of the unit up. All right, so let's get this through here like this. We're going to put all the wires through here, just like that. We're going to catch the one screw here, and you want to catch everything by hand. You don't want to screw it in with a screw gun yet. So we'll catch them all by hand first. We're going to catch our second one in here as well. Okay, now once we have them caught by hand, we're going to come in here with our screw gun, and we're going to screw it up until the plate touches up against the ceiling. Okay, all right, next thing we'll do is we're going to get the fan motor up here and we'll start doing our wiring. We're going to take our motor and we're going to put our motor in here, into this bracket right here is cut out for it. I do want to point this out to you when you are getting the screws out to install it. You look in your book that comes with it, the installation book, and it tells you which screws are used for what. Now this one here says there's a star on there, so we know these screws go in the side here and here to secure the motor in place so it won't move. All right, so let's take this now and we'll connect the wiring up. We're disconnecting the leads right here. Now we're going to take these, we're just going to push these up out of the way, just like that for now. We're going to take our motor and we're going to slide our motor into this up here. And there it hangs. Next we're going to take those two screws that they gave us in this bag, and now we're going to screw them in to secure the motor in place. Tight, and what that does, as I said to you, it holds the motor in place so it can't accidentally come out while the wiring is on. You can see how it will not come up to come out. All right, so that's that. let's do our connection of the wiring right here, and we'll get this finished. Okay, so now let's get ready to make our connection with all the wire that we have up here. Now you can see that there's a wire here that has a yellow and a green. That's our ground. So we're going to make sure that that ground connects with this ground and onto this ground right here. But the first thing we're going to do is going to connect our white one. We are going to take these caps off. I always like using new caps whenever I do a job. So we're going to use a new cap here too. We're going to take our white wire. We're going to bring our white wire over here. We're going to take this, and we're just going to wrap it slightly around, just like that. And now we're going to hold it with our one hand. We're going to wrap it clockwise, just like that. Take our wire nut, put our wire nut over the top, and tighten down your wire nut as tight as you can make it by hand. Okay, now before you finish, make sure you grab the wire, give it a pull to make sure that the wire is tight in there. Because I've had it many times where the wire slides down the solid wire from the house and it doesn't make contact. All right, so this one, we're done. Next, we're going to take our black and we're going to take our blue, because the blue, remember, that's the light, and the black is the power. We are going to have them controlled from a switch, this pull switch. So we take the blue and the black and we're going to wrap these together and we're going to connect it on to this black wire right here. Now I'm going to get my wire strippers and I'm going to strip some wire off here. I mean some insulation. I like this a little bit longer. So let me get the wire strip. Okay, so now we're just going to strip a little bit more insulation off of here, and we're going to use our wire strippers to do that. The same thing on the black wire as well. We're going to strip a little bit more insulation off of there as well, just like that. So we're going to take our black and blue, and they're going to be wrapped together. So we're going to twist these around just like this, so that the two now become one. Next, we're going to take our black cap off. We're going to grab our new cap. We're going to take this wire. We're going to go clockwise with this as well, around just like this. We're going to screw our wire nut over the top of it. And we're going to screw it down as tight as we can make it by hand. Just like that. Grab the wires, give them a pull, make sure they're nice and tight, and they are. And this one we're done with now as well. Next, we're going to take our ground wire, or ground that's on the bracket that's provided to attach to the ceiling. We're going to take this one, and we're going to take this one. We're going to wrap these together as well. Just like that. And then we're going to take these, and we're going to wrap it around with the ground from the house itself. Again, we're going to use our new wire nut. We'll take this, wrap it around. You know what? We're going to make these longer. I don't like how short these are, so let me get my wire strippers and we'll make them a little longer. Okay, so we stripped our wires back a little further. Now we're going to wrap these together just like this. Next, we're going to take the grounds and we're going to wrap it around the ground with the household wiring or the house wires. I'm going to wrap it just like this. Again, we're going to go clockwise with our new wire nut. Okay, tug the wires, make sure you have a good connection, which you do. Now remember, I told you the red wire, we're not doing anything with it. All right, next we're going to take these wires and we're going to stick them into this spot up here and tuck it out of the way, and then we'll continue putting the rest of the covers on. So let's push this inside like this. And even though our red one is not being used, I put a wire cap on it anyway, just to play it safe. And that's it, our wiring is now tucked up underneath the bottom. All right, let's get our cover and put the cover on. And next we're going to take our cover that goes up in here. And I want to point this out to you. You can't just push this up and have these holes line up with the holes right here. There's a little indented area right here that you need to install it here and then rotate it around so it fits up into that little slot right there. Now that's on this particular one. Yours may be a little different. So we're going to bring this up first. Make sure it's on both sides. Turn it. And you can feel it lock in. It snaps right in there. Now we're going to catch the 4 screws, 2 on this side and 2 on that side. We're not going to tighten them up tight yet. We're just going to catch all 4 of them first. And once we have all 4 of them caught, then we'll come around and tighten it up. Okay, now that's nice and tight. All right, let's continue on. Next, we took our fan blades, and make sure you put the blades the way that you want them, because there is a dark side and there is a light side. So make sure you set them up the way that you want them, whether dark or light. I'm going to have it with the lighter side facing down. We stuck our grommets in here. They just push right straight through, and you want to make sure it's through on both sides, this side as well as this side. Next, we're going to take our bracket, put it down underneath here, put this over the top of it, take our screws, put our screw through here, and then we're going to screw it down, not tight, just to catch all 3 of them. Okay, once you have all 3 of them caught, then you can snug the screws down. You don't want to tighten them real tight and break anything. You just want to snug them down until they're fairly tight. Okay, then we're going to repeat this on all 5 of the blades, and then we're going to go up and we're going to hang these blades up on the motor itself. Okay, next we're going to take our fan blades. We're going to bring them up here like this. Catch the screw in there. We're not going to tighten it up. We're just going to catch it by a couple of threads. Once you have a couple of threads caught in there, then we're going to come in and we're going to do the exact same thing on the second screw here. I'm just going to snug them down for now. We're not going to tighten them real tight yet. Even though your directions are telling you to tighten them, don't do it. All right, let me grab the other blades and let's connect the other 4 blades on. Now that you have all of the blades connected up, we're going to go around and we're going to tighten up all the screws that hold the blade up to the motor itself. Okay, so our blades are now done. Let's get the other piece to put on the bottom here and we'll continue. Okay, next we're going to take our bracket that mounts up to the bottom of the fan motor itself. As you can see, these are slotted right here and one of them is not slotted. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 screws up here first into the holes where they belong. I'll catch this first and I'll show you. Just like that. And then we're going to do the exact same thing back here. Just like that. Now we take our plate that's going to go on there, and this wiring needs to go through this center hole right here. So let's do that. Put the wiring through here, just like that. Make sure you don't pinch any wires underneath it. Next, we're going to take this bracket and we're going to slide it on and we're going to rotate it just like that. And now we'll catch our 3rd screw up inside right here. And now we can snug all 3 of the screws down till they're tight. Okay, they're all nice and tight. And that's it. This is all mounted here. Let's go back down to the light assembly that we are not going to put the light on. We're going to disassemble it and put up just a cover over here, but I'll show you that right now. Okay, now if you were using the light attachment, then this step would not be for you. At that point, you would just take this, mount it up to the bottom there, plug this plug in up top, and then you're ready to put the screws in here and reassemble it. But I chose to take the light off of this unit here. I didn't want to use the light, so we're going to take it off. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come up underneath the bottom here. We're going to remove this Phillips head screw right here. And we're going to do the exact same here. Take this Phillips head screw out as well. Okay, this light comes off like that. Next we come up to the top right here, and you see you have a black wire and a white wire. That's the black and white wire here. You just disconnect these. Take this out. And that's it, we're not going to use that. And now before we go up to put this up into the rest of the fan, we're going to take the two connectors that like this that came provided with it, and we're going to block off the place where the wiring was connected into for safety reasons. And now we can put this in here. Now let's go up top and let's catch those 3 screws, and we'll finish this off. Now we're going to take the connector here, and we're going to plug it into this connector right here. There's only one way it can go. And if you feel around, there's a little tiny bump right on here, and that has got to lock right into that piece right there. So there's only one way it can connect on. Push it together until you hear it snap, and that's it. Okay, next we're going to take 2 of the screws. Remember how that was slotted up there? This is slotted right here as well. So we're going to put this screw here, and the other screw, this one, in here, and we're going to screw them in just partially. Just like that. Same thing on this one over here. And now we're going to take this, and we're going to catch it around that piece right there. We turned it. Now we'll catch the screw in the side over here. Okay, now we come around the other side and we just lift this up just a little bit to get that screw caught in there. And then we'll snug this one down until it's tight. Okay. And now we'll screw the other 2 screws down until they're tight as well. Okay, and now we'll put our cover up underneath here. All right, next we bring this up here, and we're going to catch the screws. I know it's tough for you to see. Just catch it by a couple of threads, and then we'll bring this around here, and we'll do the exact same thing on this one. We'll screw them down until they're snug. All right, now if you had the light assembly, of course it would be up in here. You would have it down here, and then you would reattach your globe onto the bottom of it. But as I said, we decided not to do that. All right, that's it. Let's turn the power on. Let's turn it on and make sure it works. Okay, let's turn the power on, make sure it's okay. All right, so that's it. The job is all done and everything worked out perfectly. The only thing I will tell you is make sure that those screws that you're putting up into the box itself, make sure that they're adequate length, because the worst thing you can do is put it in there with an inferior screw, turn it on, and wind up losing the entire fan assembly. Make sure you use the screws that come provided, or you can pick them up in your big box store. But that's it. This job is done, and we're on to the next one. All right, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.